Can you guess where we're going today? If you want to guess. That's right, folks. It's the wild, wild west. The old west. Yes, today's adventure is going to be taking place all in the desert of Arizona. But don't let that stop you on your adventure. And yes, I need a haircut. Come join me today on today's adventure in the Wild Wild West. I'm at a McDonald's parking lot. And it's the reverse here for the unusual time pandemic. They're doing indoor instead of drive-through here. It's the reverse here. That's why I'm wearing the mask. By the way, if you look behind me, you see the Arizona border. Past the train tracks is Arizona. So, just wanted to let you guys know on that. Thanks. Crossing into the Arizona border. Once I cross this river, I will be in Arizona. Kerplunk, Arizona. I'm on Route 66, of course, and gonna be passing through the town of Oatman. I just passed a mule. I think this town is famous for having wild mules. Roaming. I forgot the history of this town. I have to watch other YouTubers' videos on the history of this town. But this town has wild burros or mules and donkeys just walking around in this town. I think we might see some on the road up here. I think this was a mining town. I think that's what it was. I think it was a mining town. So this has a very strict speed limit around here in this little town, and I think they have wild donkeys and they just have, of course it's pretty much closed up around here, but they have wild animals. Look, jackrabbit. They got out of the way. Old town. I think there was wild animals. I think this is a very old town.
Arriving at 239 County Route 153 on the right.
It's also Route 66. They had a sign, "Don't feed them." Anyway, I had to go really, really slow around this town. Probably a possible speed trap. I think we're leaving town now. Anyway, so a little bit of a history of Arizona. Arizona was established way prior, for a long time, under Spanish rule and of course Mexican rule. But it was always a territory of the United States for the longest of times. Even in the 1800s, it was always a territory. It was always a territory. It's too bad everything was closed back at home, and I think there was museums and stuff to look at, but it's kind of like Marsh Creek Road around here. Anyway, it was always a territory. It was always territory of the United States. I think what made it famous was Tombstone, 1881, when the Earps and the Clannons and the McClarys had a shootout at the OK Corral down in Tombstone. It's about, say, 400 miles away from here. Anywho, so, and of course I guess they have strict speed limits around here because I think there's wild animals, mules and donkeys around here. Anyway, what was I gonna say? So the shootout, OK Corral. I think that's the thing that probably put it on the map because there's always, it's always been, and it was still a territory even during the shootout. Because Wyatt Earp and his brothers were the U.S. Marshals of the territory. And the McClannans and the McClarys were they were cattle rustlers, and they were illegally crossing cattle from Mexico into the United States, and they were doing illegal stuff, and of course they had a feud going back, the Earps and the Clannans, for years, they had years of feud going back, and this was the final showdown. But that's what put kind of Arizona on the map, is Tombstone, Arizona. That's south of Tucson. That's about 400 miles away from here. I'm in northern Arizona right now, going to the Arizona mountains. I'm probably pretty close to the Grand. I'll be getting close to the Grand Canyon. I'll probably be going close to that today. But a lot of things are closed. I think even the Grand Canyon's closed. I think everything's closed up. I'm just driving on through. Anywho, so not until 1912 they decided to make Arizona a state. Not until 1912. I think it has to do with population, but I'm not sure. I think that's one of the reasons that it has to make, in order to become a state, you had to have a certain population, which Arizona never really had. But also reminds me of a highway I was on to Bishop a little bit too. Anyway, just wanted to film this through Oatman. Another interesting tidbit about Arizona is the Native Americans, such as the Navajo and the Hopi and the Apache, have a lot of territory here. Well, because of that, because most of the reservations are here in this area, they somehow had influence on the government on the time when the railroads had the time zones, Pacific Mountain, Central, and Eastern time. And of course, you had the rolling time zones, but even when you have those time zones were established, it's very interesting that Arizona stays mountain time all year long. So in the summertime, instead of going ahead of an hour like the rest of us, they stay mountain. The Indians had this influence where the Native Americans, they had the influence on they had the influence on what's this? Eagle. Birdie. No motorcycle. I don't know. But anyway, they had the influence to keep it all one. So in the wintertime, yeah, they're an hour ahead of California, but right now they're exactly the same time as California, so their mountain time is, they're Pacific, until you get to New Mexico, that'll be a mountain time. So just a little tidbit here. Looks like, I thought that maybe it's the first gas station. I don't know what to say. Gift shop. Snacks. Maybe. And historic gas pumps. Look at that. Historic gas pumps. Used to be a mobile station. I don't know if the pumps still work, but that looked like a gas pump, like a historic gas station, which would make sense because we had to go up and down a mountain, and those old vehicles, they'd probably be out of gas. The old vehicles in the 1930s, they probably ran out of gas. You can see why they built the interstate. I mean, it's time consuming. This is a time consuming route. And also, when trucks got bigger and more efficient, for bigger, 16-wheeler, it'd be hard. It's practically impossible to go up the mountains around here. Oh, there's open range. So, you could see why the interstate was built. It's not just time consuming, it's also for transport, for essential needs like the trucks. Because 40 is parallel with us, but they went around this mountain, we went through the mountain. And that's just pretty much the difference here is we actually zigzag through the mountain, whereas I-40 goes around the mountain, but it's more of a straight. But it's the essential needs for the truckers. They need to deliver goods across to point A to B. Of course, I don't know how people from Oatman get their goods, because that was a small town, and not other small towns. How they get their goods, but people need to get the A to B, and there's and of course you have time schedules and whatnot. You have to, you can't be either, you can't slack off. You can't, the trucker cannot slack off. If they have to get frozen goods or fresh goods from one point to another, you can't be screwing around and open. You can't be screwing around these little towns. You can't be going in windy roads like that. You cannot be doing stuff like that. You have to get to A to B. Of course, you skip the big town, but it's what it is. Anyway, you can probably see I-40 parallel with us, and we're on the road, to the side. But otherwise, it's time consuming. Yes, it's fun, but if people have to get where they have to go, and they have to be somewhere at a certain time. You can't just be screwing around going. I know I'm repeating myself. I apologize. Anywho, so that was Oatman. One thing you gotta do, you gotta reduce the speed when you go into small towns. I'm entering the town of Kingman, and it says 35 for a reason, because they make their money off of people speeding around here, so you have to go exactly 35 or less, which I am doing now. I'm going up to 30. No need to speed around here. But these towns are speed traps. It's the town of Kingman, Arizona. I just entered the Indian reservation. I just saw a sign. I just put on my camera. I'm on the Indian land right now, apparently. They're letting me pass. Also, I think my GPS realized I was on Route 66. By the way, because it's asking me about gas and food. I didn't realize that it's asking me that. But I just crossed into Indian country. This is the Indian reservation I'm on. One thing that is very, very sad about this highway is I've seen a lot of, and since I've gotten in Arizona, a lot of abandoned a lot of abandoned gas stations, little town, a lot of stuff that's just abandoned, just not existent anymore. But yeah, this is Indian reservation. Apparently, I decided to say I'm an Indian reservation. I just noted the GPS decided to realize, oh yeah, you're on 66. You want a break? Look at that. Wait, can't see that, but the GPS is telling me, do you want a break? You know, gas, restaurant, you know. So yeah, so this is, I think I'm on a Hopi Indian reservation. What's the sign say? Oh, 66 miles to Ash Fork. Anywho, so yeah, I'm on the Native American Indian reservation. That's what it said. I have to record this. Why? Because look at the signage. That is a Burma Shave sign. This is a Burma Shave. That's from the 1950s, 30s through 50s. Burma Shave was trying to advertise their shaving cream. It was the first. I had to record that. This is weird. I'm in Kingman, Arizona, just taking a light lunch break, and I went to past the Indian reservation. They're strict. The side roads are all closed off. They have very nice houses, by the way. Very nice houses. Just a side note, but when I got into Kingman, everybody's all no mask, no rules, no entering, no nothing, no signs posted, no nothing. It's like no virus exists at all here. But I was the only one that had a mask, so I was just keeping my distance. Thanks. This is the town of Williams, Arizona, and it's very, very slow around here. It's very speed trap like. 15 miles an hour around here. Look at this, folks. The road is not even paved. This is crazy. Crazy. They never bothered to pave this part of the route at all. Crazy. And I forgot that this part of Arizona is very forested. I was thinking desert, but no, it's very forested around here. Okay, just to, you know, wow, very paved. No dividers, no nothing. It's just primitive. I'm gonna check into the hotel now. I'm at Winslow. I have to end the video.